You guys remember the World of Warcraft 3rd edition D&D tabletop game?
Huh?
Alright, most of you probably don't even know that existed. But yeah, Warcraft used to have its very own role-playing game that was released back in 2003. That's 1 year before the MMO was even released, and people absolutely loved it. As you can imagine, the fans of Warcraft 3 ate this game up in droves. All of them gathered around their tables with these colorful RPG books containing all this new lore, adventures, maps, so much cool stuff. It was everything they needed to prepare for that next big adventure in Azeroth once World of Warcraft dropped in 2004. And you know what? Despite this game's success, it suddenly just vanished overnight back in 2008. Or did it? There's a lot to talk about with this little dive back into the past, and we're gonna let Mookluk take it from here, sharing with you all the history of World of Warcraft D&D. But first, we have to give a shout out to this video's sponsor, Lineage 2. The age of magic is now upon us. A new update to the beloved free-to-play MMO Lineage 2 was just released on August the 9th, bringing with it a ton of new content to the game. It's an era of wizards and summoners with a completely redone magic system, new equipment like Trinity weapons and Supremacy armor, as well as new Homunchuli companions. Age of Magic has also brought new territories to explore in the game. Now, for those of you guys who have never played this game before, Age of Magic is also including a help cube to get you started, which contains a lot of stat boosting items to help you explore the world more comfortably. And if you register using my link in the description below, you will get a unique help cube from me personally, which will give you useful items for up to 30 days to speed up your leveling. Guys, it is the perfect time to jump into Lineage 2 if you have never given this game a chance. Linked down below in the description. I will see you all online.
The year 2000. Long before Warcraft was even considered as an RPG, there was a company called White Wolf Publishing. Management of the White Wolf looked at the D20 system, a role-playing game mechanic originally developed for the 3rd edition of Dungeons & Dragons, as the future of tabletop gaming. They thought the D20 would play a huge role in the role-playing game industry and decided that they needed to drive into the D20 trademark license before anyone else did. But there was a slight problem. The D20 system license was known for its highly complicated legal and mechanical issues, and White Wolf couldn't figure it out on their own. So, they teamed up with some folks over at Necromancer Games, who helped them create the imprint, Sword and Sorcery. Fast forward to 2003, the imprint, Sword and Sorcery Studios, released the 1st edition of Warcraft, the role-playing game. The 1st edition of Warcraft. Warcraft TTRPG was the very first edition that boasted a number of exciting supplement books, short stories, new lore for Warcraft, characters, mechanics, it had a lot. And before you lore enthusiasts get all excited about all of this, unfortunately no. The Warcraft and World of Warcraft RPG books are not considered canon. They had to diverge from established canon within the video games. I mean, just look at these books. They're gorgeous. Even people who didn't play Dungeons & Dragons were collecting these things, just for the artwork and the written lore alone. Blizzard helped generate a lot of the content within the books though, so there might be times where you'll find ideas from the RPG that made their way into the official lore, even though it must have been a challenge for the studio to bring the differences in character mechanics between Azeroth and Dungeons & Dragons. I mean, check this out. Did you know that Night Elf males can, according to the RPG, telepathically communicate with their multiple wives? In 2005, Sword and Sorcery Studios released the 2nd edition of World of Warcraft, the role-playing game. Things were looking good, until they weren't. The beginning of the end. Like the 1st edition, Arthouse designed and created multiple source books for the 2nd edition of World of Warcraft Tabletop RPG. But they're a little pricey. And this is because in 2008, Sword and Sorcery Studios discontinued the World of Warcraft RPG. 5 years of fun, suddenly over. The official reason has never been declared, but we can make a few educated guesses as to what happened. Licensed RPGs rarely stay with the same studio for a long time. If they don't renew their licenses, then say goodbye to your favorite RPG. And chatter online suggests that's exactly what happened. That, and shifting priorities within Blizzard Entertainment, meant that White Wolf Publishing couldn't continue with the RPG. This meant that White Wolf Publishing dwindled as a company, not finding the success they once had in the past. Paradox Interactive acquired it on October 29, 2015, and none of the original employees cared to renew the World of Warcraft RPG license, nor produce new content or sourcebooks for the existing player base. The fans lamented its loss heavily. Warcraft, the tabletop RPG, was officially dead. Or was it? Rise of the Home Brews. Never underestimate the power of passionate nerds, especially when it comes to a game world as rich as Warcraft. Fans of the World of Warcraft tabletop RPG decided that if White Wolf Publishing was out for the count, they'd get to work on their very own homebrewed versions of the game. While some fans worked within the existing 3.5 version of the RPG, others converted the game to newer and updated versions of Dungeons & Dragons as the years rolled on. It was a massive undertaking that started in October of 2014 and drew inspiration from such games as Warhammer and Diablo 3 in its character designs and rules. They even created an entirely new World of Warcraft RPG 5th edition book, complete with artwork, canon lore, maps from recent expansions, and more. Today, there's tons of subreddits and YouTube channels dedicated to hosting World of Warcraft RPG sessions. You might be surprised, but despite its discontinuation in 2008, the player base has thrived. It's a positive community that'll welcome you with open arms and guide you to every possible resource so you can get started with your own Warcraft RPG journey. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this little look into the history of one of Warcraft's long-lost gems. But if you're interested in learning more about the MMO, or just testing to see how much you actually know about World of Warcraft as a game, you should watch the video on your screen now. 100 fun facts about World of Warcraft. I guarantee many of the facts we research will blow your mind. But anyway, that brings us to the end of the video, so I guess get out of here, go, be gone. Shoo.